Recording in progress.
Right, okay, you all are here now. I just got a power failure, got disconnected. Sorry. So, I just wanted to mention about the parental generation, right? The parental generation and then the offsprings. Hi. Parental generation, those are the mother and the father, male and female and male organisms, mother and father. Then the next generation produced is known as the offsprings, right? Once the offsprings become mature, they will produce the another generation, right? Likewise, the generations are continued. So you can say, just draw this, and after that we can say the next generation produced by the existing generation is known as offsprings. Young ones of a particular species are called offsprings. Now all the terms are learnt in the first part. Okay. Okay, shall we watch a video related to the introduction for sexual reproduction? Okay, have you all finished writing? Finished, no?
Yes.
Okay, let's watch.
Yes.
Hi friends! Today we're going to see how to classify animals by their reproduction. I'm sure you already know that chicks are born from eggs and puppies grow in their mother's wombs. Do you want to learn about the different ways animals reproduce? Let's dive right in. As you probably already know, animals have babies similar to themselves through reproduction. There are two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual reproduction. Only a few animal species produce in this way. It involves only one parent, and they do not have special reproductive organs. Asexual organisms can make identical copies of themselves when they become adults. An example is jellyfish or sea sponges. Yes, you heard that right. Sea sponges are animals, although many years ago people thought they were plants. Sexual reproduction is most common in animals. It involves two parents, a male and a female, and their young will look like them. We can classify animals into three groups according to their type of sexual reproduction: oviparous, viviparous, and ovoviviparous. Let's discover them. Oviparous. Oviparous animals hatch from an egg. Can you give me an example of an oviparous animal? I'll help you. Birds, like ducks, are oviparous. Most reptiles are oviparous, like this chameleon. What a cool animal! Fish are also oviparous. Did you know that a fish can lay up to 500 eggs at one time? It's amazing! And oh, I forgot! Insects are oviparous too! Eek! Viviparous. The babies of viviparous animals grow in their mother's wombs. Then, the mothers give birth to them. What animals are viviparous? Almost all mammals, including us humans, since we grow in our mother's wombs and are born from them. Dogs and cats are also examples of viviparous animals. Do you know how many puppies a female dog can give birth to? Up to 24 puppies in the same litter. Ovoviviparous. There aren't many animals with ovoviviparous reproduction. Their embryos develop inside an egg, which grows inside the mother's womb. They're like a mix of viviparous and oviparous animals. Do you know any examples of ovoviviparous animals? The most famous are some sharks, snakes, and the platypus. What interesting animals! That's all for today, friends. From now on, you'll know how to classify the different animals by their type of reproduction. See you soon!
Okay, then we are going to learn about the internal and external fertilization, right? Internal fertilization and external fertilization. So what do you mean by those? Now you have an idea about fertilization. So what do you mean by this internal and external fertilization? Yes, Kian Balan. Yes, those who know internal fertilization and external fertilization. Have you heard about the reproduction of fish?
Teacher, they are not internal, teacher. They are like internal reproduction is sort of like teacher the reproductive or the baby is growing inside of the mother's womb, or if we tell of the other side of the like not internal reproductions, that what's that word teacher?
Internal and external fertilization.
So external fertilization is sort of like teacher, they give birth in eggs. So internal reproduction, they give birth. They are in their mother's wombs, but external are totally different because they grow up by the eggs.
Harry. So actually internal and external fertilization means, in the case of external fertilization, once the male gametes, the sperms, they fuse with the male gametes, the male gametes fuse with the female gametes outside the body, that is outside the body, right? Outside the body. Then in the case of internal fertilization, The fusion of gametes take place inside the female's body. Right? That is the difference. Now we will discuss about these two types. What is the difference in between internal and external fertilization? I will explain. Hi. Take these two. Internal and external fertilization. So I will first take the topic internal fertilization. Right? Internal fertilization. Internal fertilization is shown by animals like fish. Give examples. Examples: fish and amphibians like frogs. Right? They show. Sorry, this first we'll take external. External fertilization is the evolutionary lower level one. I will take external fertilization first. External fertilization, and fish, amphibians, they show external fertilization. There what happens is the female animal lays eggs into water, right? It lays eggs into water, right? They lay large number of eggs, in water, right? Eggs.
Some of the eggs are like not alive, right?
Yes.
That's so like they trick so that the predators would like just go on search and they would see like there's nothing, so they will like leave them alone.
Yeah, so they are covered with a jelly-like medium, right? So there is a protective cover. Sometimes you may have seen the eggs of fish as well as the frogs in ponds. Sometimes have you seen? There is inside the ponds. Have you seen the eggs of fish and also frogs? So they are actually the jelly-like medium. Outside it is colorless, and inside there is a black dot-like thing. And most probably they are like that. Then the male animal, female, lays eggs in water. Female lays eggs. Female lays eggs in water, right? Then the male animal, it releases sperms. Into water, right? Then the fertilization takes place outside the body. Male animal.
So in those growth stage, they make sort of like a sperm called tadpole station. So are they also sperm or something?
Tadpoles? No. Tadpole is the one of the stages of the life cycle. One of the stages of the life cycle of a frog. Tadpole. Those are not sperms, right? So due to I will show you once again in a video. These are not tadpoles, right? I have just indicated the sperms. Male animal releases sperms into water. Right? Then when fertilization occurs outside the body. Then we call it as external fertilization. Clear? Fertilization occurs outside the body. Is it clear, Sanaya?
Yes.
That is why we call it as external. Fertilization occurs outside the body. So do you find any danger in this, or if there is any challenge here? When external fertilization occurs, is there any challenge the organisms face?
If we take a side from frog stage, there's no total challenge. But if we take some sort of like fish, I saw in one of the videos that fish is jumping to the leaves and putting those things. And sort of they have to like come up to the water without like being hidden into the water. So they have one risk that predators would be over there to catch them, such as eagles and kingfishers. They could catch them so easily, and sometimes their other thing is that there could be any situations such as those rain situations or storm situations. So the waves from the river or something would be higher, so it would be more harder than to like lay eggs in leaves or upper or open areas like that.
Yes, as he told, now when the eggs are laid into water and when the sperms are released into water and when the fertilization occurs in water, that means the probability of fertilization is also less. We don't know whether each egg will be fertilized by a sperm. So there is a wastage because the fertilization is not ensured. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම fertilized වෙයි කියලා අපිට කියන්න බෑ. Right? Is it okay if I use only English or do you want me to use Sinhala as well? What do you prefer? It's okay when I use only English. Right. එහෙම ඕනේ නම් කියන්න. If you want, just tell me. So the fertilization is not proven. We can't say each and every egg cell will be fertilized, so there will be a wastage and there is a safety issue as well, right? The safety is not there. Sometimes they can be eaten by the predators, as he told, right? They can be consumed by the predators. They may be destroyed due to external hazards, right? So there is a risk factor in external fertilization. Therefore, they need to produce large number of eggs as well as sperms. That means that they need to produce large number of gametes when external fertilization takes place. Did you get that? Why? Always the reproduction is biologically it is there to continue the species. The objective is always to produce offsprings and continue the species. But when the fertilization occurs externally outside the body of the mother, then there is a risk factor. That's why they have to produce large number of gametes. Then shall we move on to internal fertilization? Internal fertilization. Yes, who are the animals show internal fertilization? So when they become evolutionary advanced as well as when they have invaded the land, they show internal fertilization, right? When they have invaded the land, they show internal fertilization. That means the sperms, the male animal deposits sperms inside the female's body, right? Then it is known as internal fertilization.
Excuse me, teacher. What happens in those like seahorses? They like fertilize the eggs in the female body and then like transfers it to the male body. What's
Yes,
happening?
Yes, in nature there are wonders. So this is an exceptional situation. So the protection of the young ones is done by the father in that case, in the seahorse's case, right? So it protects the young ones inside its body, right? Okay, there are exceptional cases. Then we are talking about the common scenario, but there are exceptions. Hari. Then shall we move on to internal fertilization? If you have finished writing, you have finished, no? Hari. What is this internal fertilization? Internal fertilization. So the male animal deposits male gametes. Male gametes, what we call as sperms, in the female animal's body. Female animal's body, right? Then we call as internal fertilization. Then so when they have invaded the land, now fish and amphibians, even the amphibians, they need water to complete their life cycle, right? But when the animals have invaded land, what happens? They show internal fertilization, right? So who are the animals? Land animals, most common among land animals, and some of the aquatic animals, right? Most land animals and some of the aquatic animals. Most land animals show internal fertilization, and some aquatic animals, very few. Aquatic animals. So we can say most of the land animals, mainly reptiles, then the birds and mammals, they show internal fertilization. Then it is protected, neither the safety is assured there, because now the fertilized eggs are inside the mother's body. Fertilized eggs are being developed inside the mother's body, so the safety is assured. Internal fertilization. Okay. Yes, Damsara, Shamla and Sanaya, I can't see you. Hari. Done?
Not is in the lab in the exam.
Reptiles, birds and mammals. Finished? So in this case, do they need to produce large number of eggs as the organisms which show external fertilization? What do you think, Dam? Indusara?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, what do you think? Do the animals show it? Internal fertilization need to produce large number of eggs, like in the case of external fertilization?
No.
Right? What is the reason? Yes, Prakash, can you say? Yeah, no, whatever you feel, just tell.
Teacher, that's because there's not much more hazards than like that.
Yes, the hazardous situations are less. They are safely inside the mother's body, right? Therefore, they don't need to produce that much of eggs, like in the case of external fertilization. Okay, Imran?
Yes.
Finished?
Yes, miss.
Okay, then shall we move on? Now, you are asked, why do female animals who use internal fertilization produce only a few egg cells? Write the answer by your own, then I will ask what you have written for the first one. Why do the female animals who use internal fertilization produce only a few egg cells? Now you should learn how to write an answer. Finished? Hari. Marikiana, Sanaya, what did you write?
I didn't write anything because I didn't think.
Why? You can write anything as you feel. Yes, then Situndi, did you write?
No, teacher, because I also couldn't understand.
You couldn't understand. Now we mentioned about internal and external fertilization separately. So in external fertilization, the eggs are laid into water and the sperms are laid on water. Then fertilization occurs outside the body.
Can I tell?
Yes, Kemit, what did you say?
Teacher, I wrote they produce such a low amount of egg cells because they have a possibility of growing the eggs because most of the eggs are under care of the mother and low conditions of hazard issues and such as there are no conditions of predators attacking because there is an under care of mother and they could be such as in a nest or in a high place such as birds do, making their nests in trees.
Hari, okay. So the last part you don't need to mention. Whatever the type of fertilization, then parental care is there is shown by some of the organisms only. Now birds and mammals show parental care. Once the offsprings are produced, they just take care of them. The birds, they lay their eggs inside a nest and they just take care of the eggs, and once the eggs are hatched, they feed the young ones, right? That happens only in birds and mammals. In the case of mammals, there are a few species of egg-laying mammals. Most of the mammals give birth to young ones. Neither. Most of the mammals give birth to young ones. Then those young ones are cared by the parents. Neither. So in human species, the care is very high. Okay, high. So fertilization is before internal and external fertilization means the step just before the giving birth to offsprings. Just before producing offsprings, the fertilization occurs. So we are talking about internal and external fertilization. Yes, Imran, can you tell me your answer?
First one or second one?
First one only.
Oh, first one. I know because of the hazardous situations that they produce fewer offspring.
Because of the hazardous situation, they produce fewer offspring. Because of the hazardous situations or because of having less hazardous situations?
Because of the hazardous situations.
Right. Why do female animals who use internal fertilization produce only a few egg cells? So you have to correct your answers because of having less hazardous situations. When there are less hazardous situations, they need to produce less number of eggs. Right? Hari. Another one. Shamla, what did you say?
Because the hazardous situations are less and they are under care of mother.
They are under the care of mother. Okay, good. Hari. Then second question. All of you have to say anything, right? Whether then only I can get to know whether you have understood or not. If you haven't understood, I can just explain once again. It doesn't matter. You are here to learn.
Should we do the second question at the same time?
Can you write the answer? For the second
Yes.
one, for the second question only, you write the answer alone. A female mouth brooder fish sucks her fertilized eggs into her mouth, where they hatch. So the young ones come out inside the mother's mouth in this mouth brooder fish, right? Would you expect mouth brooder females to produce more or fewer egg cells than other fish of the same size? Explain.
Because mouth brooders are like sort of small fish, right?
Not that small, no?
Yeah, Tisha, I mean like not those small, like sort of catfish.
Yes,
Catfish
like that, yeah. Not big like sharks and all.
Yeah, it is.
Right, you all have to write something.
Tisha, are you giving presentation today?
Today I will assign, no?
Okay.
Yes, Kiamu. Indu sir, read your answer.
More egg cells.
Hari, more egg cells. You say that they need to produce more egg cells. What is your reason? What's your reason?
Because it's safe in its mother's mouth.
Right. So, do they need to produce more egg cells? ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩිපුර හදන්න ඕනේද? When they are protected inside mother's mouth. Yes. Do they need to produce more egg cells? මොකද හිතන්නේ? Shamla, what did you say? Yes.
Teacher, I said yes because they are under care of their mother.
What, more egg cells or less egg cells? Less egg cells, right? They are under the care of their mother, right? We'll ask from Situm, did you write?
Yes, teacher. Because mouth-brooder fish produce fewer eggs than other fish of the same size. This is because their eggs are protected inside the mother's mouth. Since the eggs are safe inside, the fish doesn't need to produce as many to ensure some survival.
Okay, very good. Right. Yes, Kemit has raised his hand.
Yes, but the sentence clearly says the mouth-brooder fish sucks her fertile eggs. So it defines that she had laid more eggs and the fertile eggs are taken in as the result.
Hari. So you haven't mentioned whether they need to lay less number of eggs or more number of eggs.
Teacher, they have laid more number of eggs. That means eggs are at the moment they tell that those eggs are not fertile. So teacher, they have laid more eggs to be like as every fish do, that there are no more possibility to success everything. So they have laid more eggs, and as the result, they are fertilized eggs. So they have taken in the fertilized eggs. That's my example.
Yeah.
So that they lay more eggs.
Hari. So your argument is correct, but biologically, actually, the organisms get adapted to the situation. Now, in other fish, they don't take the fertilized eggs into the female's mouth. Everything happens in the external environment, in water. හැමදේම fertilization වෙන්නේ. ඊළඟට the eggs are being hatched and the young ones come out in water. But in the case of mouth-brooder fish, they have been adapted. That is a characteristic of them. They just take the fertilized eggs into mother's mouth. And so it is, the difference is this. Now, your argument is correct. I like the way that you think, but Situndi mentioned it clearly. Now, in the external fertilization, as we learned earlier, the eggs are laid into water, and these are fertilized externally, and the young ones are also born externally. Right, the sperms, they get fertilized. This is external fertilization. In the case of mouth brooder, not internal fertilization. In the case of mouth brooder fish, what happens? Once the eggs are fertilized, mouth brooder fish, once the eggs are being fertilized, the mother takes the fertilized eggs into its mouth. Right? So that is a characteristic of that species. Therefore, do they need to produce large number of eggs like other species? That is what is being asked. Right? So biologically, what should happen? Do they need to produce large number of eggs? No. They have to produce less number of eggs, fewer egg cells, right? They have to produce fewer egg cells than other fish. Understood?
they have a fewer chance of like evolving, right?
Mm,
Not evolving teacher, they have a fewer chance of fertilizing, right teacher? Because if they are like laying feed and
yes.
they will be like there will be fewer chance to fertilize. So there will also be a fewer chance to make the eggs alive. Right?
Yeah, but here in this case, in external fertilization, when everything happens outside, though they are fertilized, since they lay large number of eggs, though all of them are fertilized, majority of them will be destroyed, right? Yeah, so when compared to this is much more safer, right, in the case of mouth brooder fish, right? Okay,
Okay.
now did the others understand? Sanaya, did you understand? You have to give the answers, right? Hari, abhi kata karo. It's okay. We can discuss the things. Compare the fertilization and offspring care in fish, birds and mammals. Right, fish, birds and mammals. The fertilization, offspring care in fish, birds and mammals. Yes, you have to help me in order to we'll mention them like in a table. Fertilization and offspring care. I will say fertilization here. Fertilization.
Teacher, we have read like the mammals do mammals do external fertilization, then the fish do internal.
Yeah, like that.
The mammals do internals and the fishes do external fertilization like that, right? Teacher?
Yeah. Fish, birds and mammals. This is how you have to say. Fish, birds and mammals. Fertilization of fish. And what about the offspring care? Is there any offspring care in the case of fish?
No, there's no.
There is no offspring care. Pattern rakabala ganima කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ. They don't have the offspring care in the case of fish. But the birds and mammals, they have, right?
They have. Teacher, for birds, they have to stay 3 weeks, right?
3 what?
3 weeks for like to hatch.
It depends on the bird species, right?
Yeah, teacher. I mean for those small species, those like lovebirds and those.
Okay. Yes, අපිට කියන්න yes Damsara, what can you say about fertilization of fish? Why did you write fertilization of fish? Just say external or internal. Yes, Damsara?
External.
Yes, in the case of fish it is external. Then birds? Birds? Yes, we mentioned earlier.
Is it internal?
It's internal, yes, Imra. Internal. Then what about mammals? Mammals also, they are exhibiting internal fertilization, right? Then offspring care. In the case of fish, do they take care of their offsprings? Do they take care of their young ones?
No, teacher.
No, there is no such thing in the case of fish. But the birds, yes, they show. They lay eggs in nests. Lay eggs in nests. In nests.
Teacher, Teacher, and if we take another thing, teacher, they make their nest in a high place.
Yes.
It's also a sort of a care.
They find a safe place to make the nest, right? Lay eggs in nests and take care of young ones. Take care of young ones.
Teacher, sometimes they make their nest in house. They're one
Yes,
of
inside
the
houses,
thing make
yes.
house.
And what about mammals? The offspring grows inside the mother most probably, right? Offspring grows inside the mother. Grows inside the mother.
So teacher, what type of that pollen, that ovule, something that they hatch eggs inside of their wombs and they like born inside of the womb.
Yes, actually they develop inside the mother's womb, and once they are delivered, also the mother and the parents take care of the young ones. Not only the mother, both mother and father take care of the young ones, not only in human beings but also in other mammals. Grows inside the, yes.
Those animals like go to which category? Fish, birds, or mammals or amphibians?
Your question is not clear for me. What did you ask?
Like teacher, which category are they? Like fish, birds, mammals, or amphibians or reptiles?
For what?
For the animals who like hatch on the womb and they are still in eggs and they develop in the
Birds and mammals. So birds lay eggs, and in the case of mammals, majority, what happens? They give birth to young ones, right? The offspring develops inside the mother's womb and it is delivered, right? And there are certain egg-laying mammals as well. Do you know the egg-laying mammals? There are few, like echidna, duck-billed platypus, right? Anteater, right? Those are few egg-laying mammals, right? Most of the mammals give birth to young ones. Okay. Right. So if you have finished writing, we will learn about watch a video related to internal and external fertilization. Prakash, you got disconnected, right?
Hi there.
Okay, let's watch.
Hi there. Human beings are sports enthusiasts. We often see athletes taking part in different types of races. All the athletes are always full of energy and excited to win the race. Did you know we all have won one race very early in our lives? Yes, out of the 20 to 40 million sperms which enter the female body, only one reaches the ovum and wins the race of life. The sperm that wins the race fuses with the ovum present in the fallopian tube. This process of fusion of sperm and ovum is called fertilization. The sperm head enters the ovum and fusion of the two nuclei takes place, which results in the formation of a zygote. Did you notice the fusion of the two gametes took place inside the female body, hence it is called internal fertilization. Fertilization can also take place outside the female body, but how? Let's have a look at these animals. In the rainy season, the frogs and toads move to small water bodies. When the male and female come together, the female releases hundreds of eggs in the water. What peculiarity do you notice in these eggs? Yes, they do not have a tough outer covering like a shell, which we often see in a chicken's egg. Instead, they have a jelly-like fluid which covers the cluster of the eggs and keeps them together, thus protecting it from external factors like the movement of water or rainfall, to name a few. The male deposits sperms which swim in the water and come in contact with the eggs. This results in a fusion of gametes, which we call fertilization. Here, as we saw, the fertilization of the eggs took place outside the body of the female. Such type of fertilization is called external fertilization. This is how we all were born after winning the race of life. That's all for today.
Then isuline iklinizekata nabukliame deep cleanse. Fertilizer.
Then we'll have a look at the process of fertilization in human beings, right? How the male and female gametes fuse together in order to form the zygote, the fertilized egg cell.
Fertilization is the epic story of a single sperm facing incredible odds to unite with an egg and form a new human life. It is the story of all of us. During sexual intercourse, about 300 million sperm enter the vagina. Soon afterward, millions of them will either flow out of the vagina or die in its acidic environment. However, many survive because of the protective elements provided in the fluid surrounding them. Next, the sperm must pass through the cervix, an opening into the uterus. Usually, it remains tightly closed, but here the cervix is open for a few days while the woman ovulates. The sperm swim through the cervical mucus, which is thinned to a more watery consistency for easier passage. Once inside the cervix, the sperm continues swimming toward the uterus, though millions will die trying to make it through the mucus. Some sperm remain behind, caught in the folds of the cervix, but they may later continue the journey as a backup to the first group. Inside the uterus, muscular uterine contractions assist the sperm on their journey toward the egg. However, resident cells from the woman's immune system, mistaking the sperm for foreign invaders, destroy thousands more. Next, half the sperm head for the empty fallopian tube, while the other half swim toward the tube containing the unfertilized egg. Now, only a few thousand remain. Inside the fallopian tube, tiny cilia push the egg toward the uterus. To continue, the sperm must surge against this motion to reach the egg. Some sperm get trapped in the cilia and die. During this part of the journey, chemicals in the reproductive tract cause the membranes covering the heads of the sperm to change. As a result, the sperm become hyperactive, swimming harder and faster toward their destination. At long last, the sperm reach the egg. Only a few dozen of the original 300 million sperm remain. The egg is covered with a layer of cells called the corona radiata. The sperm must push through this layer to reach the outer layer of the egg, the zona pellucida. When sperm reach the zona pellucida, they attach to specialized sperm receptors on the surface, which triggers their acrosomes to release digestive enzymes, enabling the sperm to burrow into the layer. Inside the zona pellucida is a narrow, fluid-filled space just outside the egg cell membrane. The first sperm to make contact will fertilize the egg. After a perilous journey and against incredible odds, a single sperm attaches to the egg cell membrane. Within a few minutes, their outer membranes fuse and the egg pulls the sperm inside. This event causes changes in the egg membrane that prevent other sperm from attaching to it. Next, the egg releases chemicals that push other sperm away from the egg and create an impenetrable fertilization membrane. As the reaction spreads outward, the zona pellucida hardens, trapping any sperm unlucky enough to be caught inside. Outside the egg, sperm are no longer able to attach to the zona pellucida. Meanwhile, inside the egg, the tightly packed male genetic material spreads out. A new membrane forms around the genetic material, creating the male pronucleus. Inside, the genetic material reforms into 23 chromosomes. The female genetic material, awakened by the fusion of the sperm with the egg, finishes dividing, resulting in the female pronucleus, which also contains 23 chromosomes. As the male and female pronuclei form, spiderweb-like threads called microtubules pull them toward each other. The two sets of chromosomes join together, completing the process of fertilization. At this moment, a unique genetic code arises, instantly determining gender, hair color, eye color, and hundreds of other characteristics. This new single cell, the zygote, is the beginning of a new human being. And now the cilia in the fallopian tube gently sweep the zygote toward the uterus, where he or she will implant in a rich uterine lining, growing and maturing for the next 9 months until ready for birth.
Okay, there are actually some of the things may not be familiar to you, but I just wanted to give you an idea about the fertilization that happens inside the human body. Alright. Then we are going to discuss about the male reproductive system, right? Male reproductive system. So, in sexual reproduction, we mentioned that there are both male and female organisms. So, the male gametes are produced inside the male reproductive system, right? Hari. So, these, yes.
Teach then how do like twins born?
I will explain. Can you ask that question on next week once I discuss about fertilization? Actually, there are identical twins as well as non-identical twins. So, the identical twins are born by the zygote getting divided. Zygote divides, right? Then the non-identical twins are born. Now, normally, only one egg cell or an ovum is released at a time. So, but in rare cases, more than one ovum can be released. So, these ova get fertilized separately. Right? Then non-identical twins are born. Right? So I gave the answer simply for now. So, Next time we will discuss, right? Male reproductive system. So, if we consider the parts of the male reproductive system, we'll start from somewhere here, right? So, right here there is
Miss, do we have to draw that?
you don't have the due date neither. Actually, I have shared it in the LMS. Now Shamla told that she was unable to get it and the institute had asked to take it from me. I will just share it in the group at the end, right? Because I don't have it in my phone. If I had it, I will just share it. I don't have it in my phone. That's the thing, right? Now we'll start from here. So in the male reproductive system, there is a pair of testes, right? So testes are inside the testes. Actually, we find a number of a type of tubules, right? We call these as seminiferous tubules. Later on, you will learn. Now here we are just telling the surface things, right? So pair of testes are there. So inside the testes, the gametes are produced. The gametes, the sperms are produced. Then these are the sperms which are produced inside the pair of testes. They are temporarily stored. They are temporarily stored in this structure which we call as epididymis, right? Epididymis. Right, they are temporarily stored inside this structure which I have shown in blue, dark blue, right? After that, what happens? They get transported. They get transported along this what we call as the vas deferens, and when it is transported along this pathway, you can see there are different glands. Here there is one gland, and here there is the prostrate gland, and the seminal vesicles, pair of seminal vesicles are there, right? Then it passes this prostrate gland also, the pair of seminal vesicles, and they are passing like that. So from this side also the same thing happens, the vas deferens, right? Then they get added here. Now the sperms are getting transported along this pathway. Then the several secretions are added into the several secretions get mixed with sperms during this journey from the vas deferens. Then there are from the seminal vesicles, the prostrate gland, there is a Cooper's gland also. They just add certain secretions into this. So this mixture of sperms plus the secretions from glands, that is known as, those are collectively known as semen, right? Semen. So these secretions provide energy for the sperms. They provide nutrients for the sperms because a sperm is a highly motile cell. It moves faster. A sperm is a highly motile cell. It moves faster. For that it needs energy, right? Now the semen has reached this position. Then after that flows. It goes out of the body through this urethra. Now this is the urinary bladder, right? Urinary bladder, it is not a structure belonging to the reproductive system. It is a part of the urinary system, right? Urinary bladder. But remember, the urine as well as urine output is taken through this urethra, and also the semen is also coming out through the same structure. And this one we call as now here we can say this is the urethra. That is also a part of the urinary system, or what we call as the excretory system. Then this is known as the glans penis. Glans penis. So this muscular structure which is exposed to outside, it is known as the penis. You can see this is surrounded by erectile tissue. So the structure becomes rigid. Then I mentioned that there is a pair of testes. Right? This pair of testes are located outside the body in a sac-like structure which is known as the scrotum. The reason is these sperms, the male gametes, are sensitive to temperature, right? So the temperature inside the body is greater than the external environmental temperature. Therefore, they are protected outside the body in this sac-like structure, what we call as the scrotum. The pair of testes are located there, and then the penis is the structure which is common to both the urinary system as well as the reproductive system. It is used to introduce sperms into the female reproductive system, right? This pathway is common for both the urinary system as well as the reproductive system. So when the semen is coming out, it does not allow the passage of urine, right? So that is the simple structure of the male reproductive system. And here you are shown the structure of a sperm. So there is an acrosome. Acrosome is the part which consists of enzymes. Now you saw the fertilization process. The use of fertilization, there are large number of sperms reach the ovum, egg cell. Then they need to break the wall of the egg cell. Only one sperm is responsible for that. Out of the several millions of sperms, only one is allowed. So this acrosome contains enzymes in order to digest the wall of the ovum.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Can't two sperms go in at the same time?
No. As soon as a sperm enters, a protective cover is formed around the egg cell because of these enzymes, right? Then none of the other sperms are allowed to enter, right? So when out of the several millions of sperms, only one get the chance to enter into the egg cell, right? So that is a very random selection, now this is the egg cell. This is the egg cell, we'll say, and out of the millions of sperms, I will draw only 3. I will say that this is A, this is B, and C. So if A,
if they split up on those, that's challenges or something, right?
Yeah. So if A fuses with the ovum, one individual, right? If B fuses with the ovum, it's totally different individual, right? If C fuses with the ovum, once again, an individual with a different set of characteristics. So we all are unique formations, right? Very random selections.
So there's not even a rare chance to happen like that, right?
For what?
For that thing, like one sperm is going and another sperm at the same time.
No.
What if they retract with the same?
No, impossible, right? It won't happen. As soon as one sperm enters into the ovum, a protective cover is formed. So none of the other sperms are allowed to enter, right? Okay. So this is the nucleus which contains the male gametes. I told you. Then not the male gametes, male genetic material inside the nucleus. Then the centriole and this body part. Actually, there are large number of mitochondria. You know, mitochondria is the organelle which is responsible for the production of energy. Since the sperm can move faster, it needs a lot of energy. That energy is provided by this large number of mitochondria in this body part.
It is the powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse of the cell.
Yes, mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell. Then this is the tail. So here you can see, you know, there is a specific shape for birds and fish which facilitates their motion. What do you call it? streamlined shape. So here also it has the streamlined shape in order to swim faster. That streamlined shape. We will mention that streamlined shape in this head region.
Teacher, they are sort of like a jelly substance in their tissue. So like to swim, is there a sort of air?
Yeah, there is a there is a fluid medium there inside the female reproductive system. There is a fluid medium. Streamlined shape is there in this body head region. Streamlined shape is there. It facilitates the fast movement. Even the aeroplanes are made in that particular shape, in the shape of fish, birds. Right?
Got that's teacher for being aerodynamic.
Aerodynamics.
So this is water dynamic.
There is no such thing. Water dynamics means actually that shape facilitates the motion, tolerating the air currents or water currents. They can move faster, move forward faster.
They reduce the drag, right? Teacher, there's no drag.
Hari, okay. So is that clear? Then you have to study these things and join on the next day. Sometimes for the next week, I will share the second tutor also actually. About the pregnancy and parturition, how the mother gives the birth to the child, right? Likewise, we will discuss the infant actually, not the child. We will discuss those things next time. ඔගොල්ලෝ පොතේ පාඩම් කරගෙන එන්න. Study these things. If you have any questions, note them down and come. So next time we will discuss about the female reproductive system also. Hari. I will give the. Shall I give the presentation topics? So, for two people I will give the chance. Actually what you have to do is, you have to make a PowerPoint or whatever a presentation. I don't mind the method, right? So, you have to make a presentation and present it to the class. They should not be that lengthy. Maximum duration is 5 minutes. Along with the other questions, you have to ask 3 questions from the audience. Only 5 minutes, right? Hari. So I will give the topic. Sexual and asexual reproduction. That is only, we need only an introduction, right? On a chemic, I will give the topic to you. Sexual and asexual reproduction, only an introduction. You don't need to talk about them in detail. Okay, chemic. Sexual and asexual reproduction.
Okay,
Right.
so I had to tell what is this and like
Yes. What are the differences? Right?
Okay.
Then Shamla, you can talk about internal and external fertilization. Okay, Shamla.
Okay.
Okay, next week I will give chance to another 2 students. Prakash, Indusara, Situndi is there, Damsara, Sanaya, and Imran.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Right. So study the things and join on next week. We will discuss some more. Okay. Did you get something important today? Did you find the lesson important?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
teacher. Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay then. See you on next Saturday. Stay safe and have a nice week. Bye.
Stay safe, teacher.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.